The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The webinar will begin shortly. Please remain on the line. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. I can't even really process it very well. This is like the 7th morning in a row. This is like the 7th morning in a row that we have been able to have morning coffee. Like, I'm spoiled now. I'm used to it. I'm gonna tell Vlad I got this. I'm happy to be here. Welcome out, everybody, to the TradeSpoon Live Trading Room opening bell. My name is Scott. I'm filling in for Vlad one more time. Good morning, Victor. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me one more time. He'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, Chet. Good to see you. Good morning, LK. Indeed, Ted, glad to have you here as well. Good morning, Phil. Thank you. Big day today. We have 3 meetings today. We'll have the morning now, and then we'll pick back up at the end of the day. We'll have a closing bell trading room, take a half-hour break. Boom. We'll be talking about something else. I don't even know what it is yet, but it's going to be super exciting. I can't wait. Good morning, Faust. Good morning to you, Thomas. Good to see you. Bill. It's Vlad's Island. I don't know that he's ever off the island. All right, let's jump in. If you're new, if you've never introduced yourself, say hello. Love to have you participate anytime I'm here. I know Vlad is probably the same. A little bit about me. I've been trading for a while, teaching for a while. Here are the disclosures. Be careful out there. Trading can be risky. Clearly, we've seen that. Anyone who's been in cryptocurrencies has seen that. Woo! Got nasty. Be careful out there. Know what you're doing. Manage your risk, and you'll be fine. All right. Let's talk about what we do know. Here's what we know. Let me start in here. Here's the futures. You can kind of see what we're working with. Overnight last night around dinner time, we were even lower than we were, right? We got just this nasty little drop here and hit the lows. But by the time I closed for the night, we had a pretty good recovery. And you can see this morning that continues. We're now set to open up 1.5%. Right? And that's one of the things that we've been talking about with the VIX in the 30s, the ability for the market to move 2-3% in either direction exists. It's not like, oh, the VIX is up and so it's going to be dropping. It's not. It's going to have these hard returns. You can't chase into puts, right? I had several people that I worked with yesterday are like, well, should I get into puts? No, not now. Right? No, we can't jump in after it's just dropped as much as it has for several days. We've got to then say, okay, hold on now, because this is what happens. We get these recoveries, and even still, we could open up 1.5% and finish up 2.5 or 3. We could open up 1.5% and finish down 1 to 1.5% easily. That can happen. The VIX in the 30 says it's on the table. So, okay, right? Let's see what we think it's going to mean, right? This might be enough for you to put some bullish trades on. It's going to be hard when you open back up 1.5%. That means that your stops are going to have to be probably below the lows. And so that tends to create a little bit of difficulty on entry to control where your stop is as you manage your risk, right? You may not be convinced. You might think, yeah, 1.5 today, 0.5% tomorrow, nothing on whatever day is after that, Thursday. And then it rolls over. And then we're bearish again, because right now my posture is more bearish than not. Right? Eventually we may find a bottom. Are we there? Who knows? That's what we're here to talk about. Fred wants me to dust off my crystal ball. You guys know it's not a crystal ball, it's a magic 8-ball. Good morning, Albert. Good to see you. Is there going to be an announcement to here's the thing, how do you fight global inflation? If the Fed had reacted sooner, would they be a little more in front of it than they are? But would they have you can't stop global inflation to some extent, right? There's no control over the supply chain and issues there. There's clearly no control over Russian aggression into Ukraine that has had significant impact on commodity prices and are likely to continue into the crop season now as we hit summer, right? We'll start keeping an eye on the wheat, corn, and see if it continues to get crazy. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. The soccer game went well, Fred. A 3-1 victory. It was cold though. I was so cold. I had to drive my son's car, and I didn't have the blanket that was in the back of my car. I was freezing. But they did well. She played well. Okay, let's see what else we know. Let's go back. Let's talk about what else is going on. Futures rise after S&P closes at lowest level since. I thought it was the lowest since around the pandemic. Peloton misses earnings. Company thinly capitalized. Not looking good. Thank you, sir. Not looking good for Peloton, right? Boy, they just had this amazing pandemic rise. Oh, everybody wants a Peloton. We've talked about this the whole time. Oh, not good. And they have these really expensive stores in all the malls. Oh, it's good stuff. What else do we know? Avatar film sequel debate. Ooh, that's big. I like that. That was a fun show. You can see there's not a lot of news right now. It's just sort of like we're just sort of meandering, waiting to see if some information becomes enough to start the first domino in an actual move. I see nothing in here. Let's look at the economic calendar. So we nope, where am I? That's way too far back. May 10th. That's over here. The small business index, I don't even know what that really measures, but it's up a little bit. So hooray. UPST, Pfizer. Okay, we'll look at some of those symbols that you're throwing at me. We'll have time. We'll have time to look at those. Thank you, Daniel. Fed President John Williams speaks. I don't think there's much there. Maybe on Wednesday. You can see CPI. You can see we were at 1.2%. We're expecting 0.2. That'd be great. We'd love to start to see these measures come down. CPI from core CPI may still tick up, but it's down in that near zero. CPI year over year was at 8.6. Looking for it to go to 8.1. It'd be great if we had a surprise. Pop down into the 7s and start to see something happening there. So we do have inflationary data on Wednesday, PPI with jobless claims Thursday, some sentiment Friday. Okay, right? Let's see how the model sees it. The model's gone much more neutral as of late. There was some bearishness. Now it's neutral to maybe slightly bearish. You can see that the model called for a pop-up, but short-lived, followed by a drop, but maybe not a very pronounced drop. We know that sideways tends to be what we have in May. Sell in May, go away is a common thing. June as well. So there may just be the cyclical nature of the summer that just kind of keeps it down, and we'll see. Stella likes GFF. All right, GFF. We'll take a look. Market opens. We'll see how the range looks here. Let's just finish our predictive analysis. QQQ, very similar, projected to bounce up, but like we said, maybe short-lived. And as far as Stella sees it, it appears to still be firmly within the context of the consolidation. We need to see buyers do something more. Smash and grab. Come on in. Get to a new high. Then when they get tired, because they always do, same thing, right? We'll see it smash up, and I'll have people be like, oh, should I get in? I'll be like, no, we don't get in on day 6. This is when the party's over. The cops are on their way. Relax and wait. Things will settle a little bit. And then, our full technical reversal out of the consolidation. So this here is pure price action. I'm not looking at news. I'm saying, has price completed what I would regard as necessary to convince me that a reversal out of the current situation occurred? That's it. I see something like that, and I will start trading that more bullishly. Now, if this is happening on the markets, if this is happening on SPY, then we know there's a good chance that we would see something that was the opposite, a lower high on the VIX, where fear was up here, matching this, but then it got less as we started to see the reversal take place. Okay. PFE, I've had 2 people talk about PFE. Do they report earnings, or are they just moving? IWM, for whatever reason, the model has seen it with just, there's like I don't know if there's bribery happening here, if there's like some kind of a preferential bias for small caps, but Stella likes small caps. She's like, okay. So still this projection, even though, small, and I'll tell you what, there was a minute there about 2 or 3 weeks ago where there was some leading out of the small caps, but it just doesn't seem to have stuck. So I'm a bit iffy on that call, but we'll see what happens. Here's DIA. DIA, very similar to SPY and QQQ, a little bit of a pop, short-lived, maybe a new lower low, and it would appear continuing in its current consolidation. Okay, there it is. So what does it say? It says, just because we have a bullish day, don't lose your mind and start to just throw trades willy-nilly. Let's go into SPY to see how we're opening. How's the butterfly looking? If we want to open one today, which one, please? Thank you. Yes, we'll take a look at that. Actually, it's fine. Yesterday, there was a minute where I was like, ooh, remember we said if it breaks 400, and it didn't really, it was like the last few minutes. So if it really convincingly broke 400, we would have put on a butterfly down at 390. Now that it's back up to 405, we're probably going to just kind of leave it alone, actually. It's the beautiful thing about it. It doesn't need much. If we meander back down towards 400, then we can just slap another one on, nice and easy. So, yeah, we'll look at that this afternoon and later as well. But you can see we gapped up, ran a little bit, pulled back. Okay, we'll see how the range looks. Let's pop back out of this here. Again, when you're like, ooh, we're up 1.7%. Oh, are we? Okay, that's wonderful news. Here's the consolidation, though. So we're coming off of new lows where none of this held back here. Didn't hold. So let's contain our enthusiasm to some extent and relax and say, okay, now is this an entry, or is this like, okay, we're going to make a run up here, but if we can't get through this area up here as it gets there, then we think it's going to roll over and possibly drop further. I've got to be ready for that based on the trend that we see right now. We've got to be. If it pops through here, okay, great. It's back at play, and then gives me something like that, and then I'd be like, all right, here we go. That's a little bit better. You can see this kind of happened right back here, where it just sort of, broke out of this, gave us this higher low, and you can say, all right, let's trade the higher low, right? And that's the only time we really got much. And then it just sort of was like, no, we're not ready yet. Okay. I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna start with the ones that were requested. Here's Pfizer. I don't know. Looks okay. I mean, it does look like that this support level has held. Right, the sellers made a run right in here for a couple of days. Earnings were announced. They made a little bit of a run through here, short-lived. It's trying to turn. Yeah, I think you could make an argument for that, especially now. It depends on what your target would be. You can see from here we have run all the way up towards 55. I'd say you definitely need at least 52. PFE is buying BHVN. All right. Okay. So, yeah, I would agree that there's prospects there as it has held that support level. UPST, Upstart Holdings. Ooh, that's an earnings. That was an earnings catastrophe, apparently. Woo, goodness, down 53%. Upstart Holdings, Upstart nothing. Looks like you're down starting 53%. My goodness. They don't trade they don't trade options. They don't trade options. But that's crazy. All right, GFF, let's take a look. Griffin. I want to say Griffon, but it's probably Griffin. Looks like it's trying to turn like a bull flag. It's definitely got some momentum for sure. It's a little slow coming out of the gate, but yeah, I mean, that's the signal right there for sure. I like that one. Did I get everybody? Starbucks, and then I'll move into the watch list. Starbucks is back in China. Okay. I mean, you can see that actually, I remember talking about Starbucks. Starbucks was like Facebook for me, where it did break out of its consolidation. But at this point, it's like almost about to lose its breakout for me. So right there's my consolidation. So it broke out with volume. What was I looking for? I was looking for it to hold here. And obviously the market didn't let it. It's now back at old lows. But you know what? If it can turn off of this, you could be looking to trade the double bottom, trying to see if the news in China helps. But this one is right on the bubble for me. I don't like when after a breakout it retests that same horizontal low. I'd like to see a higher low that says, "Yep, the buyers are convincingly taking control now." Cash secured put on PFE. Oh, maybe they do have options. Maybe my volatility is not showing. Sorry, I might have made an assumption there. I didn't see that there is vol, but it seems like my vol is not turned on. So give me 1 second here. That's my bad. I think I misspoke. I assume when I don't have implied volatility on my chart that means they don't trade options. But I know Pfizer does. So it looks like, oh, so that's, you know what? They had like 9 million shares, and I'm like, wow, that's crazy that they don't trade options. That is 100% my mistake. They probably do trade options. In fact, they do. You can see the volatility is off the charts and staying up there on Upstart. But they were expecting 25 cents, and they reported 61. So they more than doubled expectations. So they must have had one hell of a guidance problem, right? Their forward-looking guidance had to just have been much lower or something, because wow, that is crazy. BHVN is getting bought by Pfizer. Oh, they're paying a hell of a premium, aren't they? Good morning, John. So I guess if you were in BHVN, you did all right. You can see the volatility here fell off the charts because now they're getting bought. So it's like, oof. Anyway, good stuff. Oh, Bob, I was wondering if you were here. I kind of felt like this presence. I'm like, feels like maybe, but he hasn't said anything. Good to see you both. Let's get the watch list going here. Tell you what. Oh, no, sorry. I have one more thing to do. I've looked at all the stocks. That's not a lot of drop, man. For that is not a lot of drop for a 1.7% up day. That is not what I was expecting to see. Tell me if you agree. I mean, that I'm a little bit shocked. Like, shit, man, that is not much of a drop. The institutions are really seeming to hold on to their hedges, is what it tells me. That is really right, Fred. Not a lot of believers, it doesn't seem. From what we see here, I am really surprised at the lack of the VIX. I would have expected it to be below 30 already. I mean, I would have expected this at least on a almost 2% up day. I would think at least there, if not even all the way below 30, right? Something like these big old days or in here or this. But this is just a little harami, like inside day, blah. I mean, we're still at the highs. So I'm definitely concerned that if we get a couple of up days, it's only going to come back to 30 and then turn. And those are some expensive puts at 30. It's just a different ball game than it was back here. You're going to look back at the puts you bought back here fondly. Oh, those were such good puts. So cheap. These are not. But you got to have something or else. And here's the thing. Let's be honest. It's not a hedge anymore, right? There's not enough bullishness in the portfolio. I say hedge, but at this point it would be, especially with a market posture that's leaning more bearish than not, this would be speculative to the downside, right? I would be speculating on this to the downside. It's not really hedging any bullishness. There's just not much bullishness right now. But I'm very concerned that as this rally comes, it is not well supported institutionally. If it's not well supported institutionally, it is likely to be very short-lived. That was interesting. That is not what I was expecting to see based on what we're seeing. And you can see we're already only at 1.34%. So we tested higher in the first 5 minutes, and now we've rolled over. And now our range we're establishing a range at a lower level. So yeah, this is why we don't overreact. We know that our expectations should be set appropriately. Real quickly, let me just take a peek at the butterfly. So the butterfly is still ever so slightly hanging on to some profit. We haven't even gotten below break even. And I'm okay with that, because if I wait and this thing is in this range and I have more vol, I can get a wider berth and then just put the other side on and let it sit. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right, Fred? It is like that's the thing about the VIX for me, is so many times over the past 15 years that I've really latched onto it for help. So many times it gives the early information that's tradable, that's just you can do something with. If no butterfly established as yet, what now? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see if it comes back up. If it comes back up above 410 in the next couple of days, there's nothing to do here. But if it meanders back down towards this, 400, 395 range, then I'll put the next piece on. Bleeding off quick, negative by close, right? Very well could be, man. Like, it's not convincing at all. So anyways, new position for us that don't have one yet. If you were putting a new one on, I still think you could start with June, but I would probably back it up by like 10 points. So I'd probably be thinking 395, 420, 445. So I think it would look more like 395, 420, 445. Let me uncheck these. Yeah, something like this where I'm kind of starting. I like to start down here because if we move up, volatility is working against me. I want to give it a little more space. So this is a good starting point. That's probably what I would look at there now. Okay, let's hit the watch list. Let's just see what's on the docket. Oh yeah, it's giving it back quickly, man. Right? The VIX was like, yeah, no, don't believe it. Do not believe it. Okay. Alcoa, new lows. Alcoa is one we talked about, like a put setup on back here. Definitely worked out well. Apple, it's up 255. It's up 1.7%. Yay! But it's actually, unfortunately, you can see here, this is why on breakouts I wait for it to hold, because I don't want to just have it drop right back the next day into the consolidation. And now the consolidation is still valid. There's nothing here yet. The NASDAQ is not going to go up until Apple can break out, hold, and start to go up. It's that simple. It's a lot of pressure for Apple, I know. But there you go. ADI, mostly sideways. ADM is trying to come back, but yesterday got beat up. I would imagine most of us stopped out, took the loss, got out when it broke support. Amazon is trying to stabilize, still just battered. I think Amazon's Amazon, right? It's going to do its 20-for-1 split out here. But eventually, look how steep this is. Eventually, this is going to do this. And when it does, I'll trade it back to the upside. AXP, down. Nothing there. Financials not looking great. Bank of America is actually trying to possibly establish a higher low. And I would think, you know what? I'll take a stab at one financial, making a run to see if it can lead. possible. I'll keep an eye on it. Caterpillar is starting to stabilize. Oil starting to stabilize, and there may be some another run into some energy possible here. Energy just gave it up, man. Just bam, it's battered. DBC, I actually think DBC looks very close, and that's probably the one I would trade. It's got the strongest trend, so I'll be looking at DBC to try to get back into the oil energy sector. Deer, if you got into the puts, you'd maybe think about taking half of them and then seeing if it can keep running, but being ready to get out if you need to. DIA, still down. Facebook. Oh, my lines are right there, just waiting. So Facebook, you can see, broke out, kept running, made a new high. That's the buyers. Smash and grab, right? They came in hard, had some volume. Now the sellers come in. I said, I don't like it to get all the way back down. It hasn't. I don't even like it to fill the gap. It hasn't. It's holding. It's holding inside of this price action here. So if it can turn from here, I would look at it. Hope Facebook attaches itself to my lines. They're just waiting, right? Come on. Jump on. Take a ride. It's fun. 2 tickets. That's it. FCX. New lows. Nothing here. Gold. The materials are struggling more as far as commodities go, right? Oil and energy staying strong, but like aluminum, steel, gold, like the precious metals, mining, that's kind of, we're seeing some divergence there. IWM, new lows. Jets, new lows. Johnson & Johnson trying to turn here, right? And this might actually, if you were thinking about it, go into Heiken-Ashi, where you can say, all right, you know what? It's done enough to produce this. I can get in, put my stop at about 176.5. That's not a lot. Right? That's only 2.5 points. So if I put my stop here at 176.5, 2.5 points, and this got back up to 185, that's $6, $7 up here. There you go. Good to see you, Albert. Inflation should attach itself to gold and silver here, one would think. Yeah, I mean, I would think just some defensiveness on overall market conditions as well. But it just hasn't. I don't know. Interesting. Johnson & Johnson's an interesting one, right? Along with Pfizer. So healthcare has been okay. Marriott still down. Marvell, new lows, not good. Microsoft, let me get off the Heiken-Ashi. Microsoft is up 2% today, but 2% off of its new yearly lows. Like, that's not that great. Neo, still down, still not looking good. Nikola, it's just getting beat up. This is worse and worse. NVIDIA up 360, up 2%. Can we look at GS? Absolutely. Goldman got kicked off the island. I don't know. For me, I like gold. I like Bank of America better. You can see they're kind of doing the same thing where they're trying to maybe. I mean, the buyers haven't really done a lot. That's only 3 days, but the sellers aren't doing much on their end either. So, yeah, I think you could look at Goldman or JP Morgan, Bank of America. Peloton is just, earnings came out and they dropped to 12 or even lower. 11? Oh, man. Peloton is a nightmare. What a nightmare. What a darling turned into a dud. I mean, you got to figure there's just not that much market. How much do those things cost? They're like $4,000, right? So I'm like, for an exercise bike or something, you got to pay for subscriptions, and now 80% of them are extra closet space with clothes hanging on them. Yeah, crazy. Oh, the best exercise equipment I ever bought was steel dumbbells, man. I bought them like 15 years ago for 75 cents a pound or something. And I got up to like 75s. I can't remember, but it's like I could probably sell it for 3 times what I paid for it. I mean, they're hunks of steel. they'll be around long after I'm gone. Someone could still work out with that. Oh, okay. Where were we? We were in the tees. Get a bike for $100 on eBay, right? Ever find that electric bike? Now I'm looking again for this Christmas. I'm looking at the electric bike, or maybe like an electric longboard, because I should break my wrist or something. I don't know. I should probably stick to a bike. 20 years ago, electric longboard. Hi, Angelique. I think Vlad is just traveling. I think he went to Europe. He'll be back tomorrow. As far as I know, he's doing fantastically. Yeah. Where were we? Tilray, Tesla. Oh, Tesla. Tesla just down in the dumps right now. There's just no light at the end of the tunnel yet. Yeah, not good, right? UNG. Woo! UNG. They call the natural gas futures the Widowmaker. Oh, that's a great idea. I should watch them. I've seen a couple of YouTube videos on those electric bikes. They're expensive, man. They are expensive, but they're super cool. Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. I still think it could give us another chance. Because here's the thing. If you take a trade here, even if it head and shoulders, you might not have known that head and shoulder is a verb, but it can be. Even if it head and shoulders, that's still a pretty good potential, right? If it got to 27, that's still a 3-point move. And if it looked like it was stalling, you could sell some. If it keeps getting back up here, sell a little more. See if it does break. I mean, crazier things have happened. All right. UNH. Yeah, right, Fred? I think it does have some potential. UNH doesn't look as good. If we're going to do healthcare, I would say Johnson & Johnson or Pfizer are your options for setups today. EU is backing up. Are they? I haven't heard anything about sanctions subsiding. Is anyone out yesterday? The BBC? I'll have to look into that and see. I don't know, man. Like, they're just all of a sudden arbitrarily pulling back for no reason. They're just like, oh, we're going to take the sanctions off, because it's not like Russia has done anything different. So that would be capitulation on behalf of EU. I would see that as weakness in their positioning if it was me. But I guess we'll see. Maybe so. USO. I like DBC better, but USO is definitely a possibility as well. So you can kind of see the setups that we're seeing where they're developing. Healthcare. Energy. Are you seeing a pattern? Facebook, that's not bad. Facebook has a potential developing, but maybe financial. So it's like someone's got to take a leading position if this market's going to stabilize and recover, and it's not going to be energy. It's that simple. Visa down to new lows. Here's the VIX. That does not look like a fabulously bullish day. If that's all you showed me, if you're like, Scott, look at this VIX, what do you think today is doing? I'd be like, yeah, I bet it's up a little bit, up a 0.5%, 0.7 maybe. Like, it's okay. That doesn't look like a day where the institutions are like, okay, get rid of those puts. We don't need them. It looks like they're like, oh, yeah, we still need them. Hang on. We're in 32. 32 is still a tight range. So be careful with that. Okay, let's look at some other things. Financials and techs or we perish. That's facts. Consumer staples is trying to stabilize in here, but it's definitely given some back. So we'll see if that does move back into a leading position. XLU has kind of broken out of this, but still just kind of meandering a little bit sideways. XOM, XOM looks pretty strong too. So I would put XOM on the energy list with DBC and USO. I like those a little better. So energy got some setups kind of developing. A couple things in the healthcare, not a lot, right? Because, well, we're not that bullish. We're just not that bullish. I mean, if you're bullish, you ask yourself, it's because you think it's bullish, you believe it's bullish, or because you see things that tell you this is bullish. I mean, if you don't tell me that you see things that say you're bullish, then you should consider reevaluating. Here is the heat map. It's a green day today. Good. That's good. Moderna was the only green yesterday when it was red. Now it's the only red when it's green. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's a green day. We're up 1 to 2%. Not much more than that. Okay. So there's a couple of setups. The neutrals are still on the table. Butterflies are on the table with the volatility where it is. The one we're in now is fine. The one that I might even think about layering another one on top of it a little further out and really starting to have some time decay working. So maybe this afternoon we'll consider another butterfly, either adding, if we sell off a little bit, we may add. Depending on where we end up in the afternoon. I think we'll stay positive, but maybe not 2%, maybe closer to 1%. And then again, if we get a couple of days up and it doesn't do much, I'm definitely going to be looking for some bearish opportunities. So I'll be back this afternoon for the last hour. I hope you can join me for that. Then we'll take a half an hour break, and then we'll have an active investor workshop presentation on dun, 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 dun. Nope, that's not it. Active investor, get your degree from SKU. Oh, we're going to look at calendar spreads and talk a little bit about volatility skews. In my usual laid back, easily comprehensible style. I didn't even know that was my style. Did you guys know I have a laid back, easily comprehensible style? If you didn't know that, now you do. What about leaps? Leaps are long-term options. If you're ever trend trading and you want to use options, that's what you would use, is leaps. There you go. All right. Good to see everybody. Join me later today for a couple of different meetings. Make sure you have your coffee and your smile and your wonderful attitudes. good to see you guys as always, and happy trading.